Hello everyone, my name is Christine and today I shall be taking you through building a movie recommendation system using Python. I'll start by defining what is a recommendation system. A recommendation system, it is a system that filters the user's choice and preference based maybe on their past experience or maybe their profile. So a recommendation system, it has various applications. One of them, it can be used to recommend the movies, it can be used to recommend the music, it can be used to recommend the product, and also it can be used to recommend the ratings and also the likes and dislikes of maybe a tweet or all that. So in that case, a recommendation system, it uses two methods to filter out the user's choice and preference. One of the methods that it is called content-based filtering. In content-based filtering, it filters users' choice and preference based on the user's profile and the description of the products or maybe whatever the user wants to know the preference and choices. Another method that is used by recommendation system to determine the user's choice and preference, it is called collaborative filtering. In collaborating filtering, it uses the user's past experience or maybe the history of the data, and also it uses the other people's history and data from the people who have the same interest. So in this case, we will be building just a basic movie recommendation system. I'm calling it basic because we use one basic Python library, which is pandas. So let's get started. We start by importing the Python library, which in this case it is pandas. So we say import pandas as PD. So we also want to get the data. We import the data, but the data we have, that is file.tsv. It when I downloaded it, it didn't have the names and columns, so I had to assign the column. So you assign using column underscore name equals you assign the column the name. So it has user ID, item ID, it has rating, and also the timestamp. So with that, I can read the data using pd.read underscore csv. You put the path of that file and also the name, because I can remember I told you that the data didn't have the column. So the columns, the names, you assign them columns names just like you have defined the column names above. And then with that, you can name the data. You can see the df.end. You can see the data with the assigned columns, the names we assign there. We have also the other data set, which I called it movie underscore titles. You can read it using pd.read underscore csv. So this is the path, and you can see it has item ID and also it has the title of the movies. So at that point, we have two data set. So for us to be able to create a recommendation system, we have to manage the data. We have to combine those two data set, and we can combine using pd.manage. You can manage. The first one was called df, and the other one was called movie titles. And the item which is common here is on equals item ID. So we want to combine them. And the item which is common to both data, here is item ID. You can see we have combined it. We have user ID, item ID which is common. We have the ratings of the movies, we have the timestamp of the movie, and then we have the title. So with that, having combined the two data set, we start by creating the means rating of the movie. We want to know the rating, the means of the movie, the ratings of the movie. So we'll do that. We start first by grouping the data by title. So we'll say data dot group by title, then rating the mean. So we want data to be arranged into ascending order. So in calculating the mean, we'll group the data by title and then the ratings. So, and you want the data to be arranged, the means to be arranged in ascending order. So we say so data dot group by title, and then we want to get the mean of the rating. So we say rating dot mean dot sort underscore value ascending order is equal to false. And you can see the ratings of the movie. You can see the first movie, it's They Made Me a Criminal, which was Christian, which was done 1939. And we can also we create we calculate the count of the ratings of the movie. Remember, we first need to group the data by title, then they want to count the count rating of the movie. So we say they'll count, then we want the data to be arranged in a ascending order. So we say ascending order is equal to false, then that is how simple it is to get the ratings and the count to be arranged in ascending order. Then we create a data frame. We create a data frame for the data for the with the data frame containing the title, the rating, and the number of ratings of the movie. So we'll do that using the pd.data frame. Then the data we want to arrange, then we group that data by title and rating, domain. Then we want that data to have the ratings, that is the number of ratings equals pd.data frame, then what we grouped by title, and then we want the count, then we plot out that data. This data, it contains the title, the ratings of the movie, and the number of ratings of the movie. So having that, we want to plot out the number of ratings of the movie. We'll do that using the matplotlib and the symbol, which are the two items that are used for plotting out the data. We can set the style we want our plotting to have. We say we say import symbol as SNS. So SNS dot set underscore style. We want our style to be white, we say white. So with that, we can plot out our data. We first start by setting out the dimensions. So we can say ratings, and what you are plotting, it is the number of ratings of the movie. We want to create an histogram, so we say rating this column, that is the number of ratings dot east, and we want to specify the bins, which is bins equals 70, and then we set out the title using plt.title. We insert the title, and then we can see this is then the histogram of number of ratings. This is it. We can also plot out the ratings of the movie. This is the rating of the movie. We use the same method we used just above, which is ratings.rating.east. So here we haven't specified the number of pins. So this is the histogram of rating of the movie. You can see how the movie has been. Having done, we start sorting the values of the number of ratings. So we can have movie mat equals data dot pivot underscore table, and this pivot underscore table, it is used to split the data into smaller portions. So what we are doing here, we are just splitting the data into smaller portions by number of ratings, by the number of ratings of the movie. So movie mat is equal to data dot pivot underscore table. Then we insert what we have. We want our data to have for data we want to have it index. The index we set at user underscore index. Then we have the columns should have the title and the so we want to have this. So toy underscore toy is equal to the coalition. Those toy want to join the movies that are related to the Toy Story with their number of ratings. So we just use the join method, which is Padda's method for joining. So call underscore toy is equal to the call, the toy is equal to join. We want to join the data we earn for rating, and we want a specific column, which is number of ratings. So we can plot out, and in this case, you can plot out using the end method. And also with that, we want at this point we have the title of the movies that are related to the Toy Story. We have their correlation, and we have the number of ratings. You can see the Toy Story, it has a correlation of 1 and it has 452 ratings. We have the Craft Beer, which was created in 1996. It has 0.54 ratings, and it has the number of ratings as 104. In this case, what I've done in this line of code, I've just set which are above 100. Just uploaded, and it is that simple. We can also see the movies that are related to the Raya Raya. We are just repeating the same method. We create a data frame using PD, the data frame for the movies that are similar to the Raya Raya, that is similar underscore to the Raya. The column we have the correlation. We drop the null variables. We join that data using with the number of ratings, and then we can plot out the movies which are similar to the Raya Raya, which they have the ratings which is greater than 100. That is how simple it is to build a recommendation system using Paddas. The other methods, when I started this tutorial, I said it is basic. It is so basic. Where we have just done this whole tutorial, we have just shown the movies that are similar to a certain movie that a user wants to use. For example, the movies that are similar to the Toy Story, and the movies that are also similar to the diary. We can do to anything that a user wants to see. In that case, thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll put in the description of this video, I'll put the data set in the description so that you can go and download it. And thank you for listening.